Hey guys, welcome back to Mo's Game Table. Today we're going to take a look inside The Final Frontier, a game designed by Kerry Anderson and published by Fiery Dragon. This is another one of those Counter-Strike minigames. I've already covered Liberia Descent into Hell on the channel, and this is a similar package. As you can see, fairly small. The difference on this one is it is a tin rather than a cardboard box. So let's take a look at the back of the box and see what this game's all about. The Final Frontier is a game that simulates man's expansion into the solar system. Players represent the global powers involved in the mission. Players must build mines and colonies to tap the resources of the planets and satellites which boost the nation's global economy, while ships and troops are built to protect those interests. Since the events in the game are one aspect of global politics, players must limit conflict. Otherwise, conflict will trigger larger and more aggressive interests in the space program, possibly leading to war. And the game contents comes with a 20-page color rulebook, 200 die-cut counters, a folded color hex map, cardstock charts and tables, and 2 dice. It is a low complexity game. Map scale is 1 AU per hex, and the unit scale is 1 to 3 ships per counter, 100 plus men, a company size per ground combat unit. Time scale is 2 months per turn, and it is for 2 to 4 players. It has a high solitaire suitability, and playing time is also 2 to 4 hours. And we'll take a look inside and see what you get. Got our rulebook, our 2d6, an economics chart, a record sheet, a pad of record sheets, Counter-Strike minigames, little catalog, random events table, unit summaries, a whole bunch of player aid cards here, and we have our counter sheets, 3 sheets of counters, and our map. So let's set up the map and take a closer look at the game. And here is the map that comes with the Final Frontier. Pretty much your standard space map. Instead of all black though, there is black and then dark blue, so there's a little bit of tonal variations to give it a little bit of personality. These lines here are the orbital lines for your planets. As you draw them from the cup, you will randomly place them anywhere along the orbital line, so you're going to have a little bit of variation each time you play. And we'll take a look at the player aid cards that come with the game. This is your economics chart. It goes into your gross national product. You have movement down here. And then there is a modifier chart that tells you that all players' national interests are affected by hostilities, with double the modifier for the player directly affected or attacked. So as you're attacked, you will get double modifiers. Then you have a system display for all the different planets. And the unit summary and production cost chart. This is for your surface units. You can have mines, colonies, planetary defense, regular troops, and marines. And then for space units, you're going to have frigates, destroyers, missile cruisers, battle cruisers, battleships, and orbital stations, and the associated build points for those. Then we have the random events table. You will roll 2d6 and cross-reference them to determine what the associated event is for the die roll. And these are the counter sheets that come with the game. These are very thin counter sheets, and they will need to be cut out because the die cuts are there, but it's more like perforations rather than true die cuts. You have green, pink, blue, and yellow as the player faction colors, but there are no specified factions in the game, so you can just assume any identity you'd like to. Ground units are the base color with the black on top, and then the space units are black with the base color on top of that. They all have the same units. You have mines, colonies, planetary defense, regular infantry, and marine infantry, and then the same space units. You have some damage counters for admin counters, and then you have your planets, which we talked about before, that you'll be pulling out of the cup. And these are the player record sheets that you're going to be using during the game. It is a pad of them. You got a good thick pad, so you should have plenty of sheets for a long time. And we'll take a look inside the rulebook for Final Frontier. It is a 23-page rulebook. You have your index at the front. It gives you an introduction. You're in the 21st century, and it gives the premise for the game, breakdown of your game map, and counters how you prepare for play. Then you have your sequence of play, the planets and how those are handled, which I said before. You take them out, draw them randomly, and then put them along the orbital lines on the map, which you can still see in the background here. And we have intra-system transport, repairing damage, inhospitable surfaces, asteroid mines, maintenance, optional rules. So there are some optional rules in the game. The examples of play are all text-based. There's, at least to this point, I haven't seen any illustrated examples. National interest level, colonization, then you get into your space movement for deep space. And another example there, space units, orbital stations, intra-system movement, and then your orbit box. And that's what this is here. And your planetary surfaces. We get into space combat procedures. Missile fire and beam fire are going to be your two methods of combat, and an example there. Planetary defense units, transported units in space, and then how you handle damage. Space surface interaction, how you do planetary bombardments, landing and leaving planetary surface, and then you get down to your surface combat, the procedure for that, and then Earth, your base GNP, production and combat, and then your random events tables and how that's handled, and the explanation of all the events, victory conditions, and then the designer's notes on page 21, and the game credits here at the back on page 22. 23 is just a ad for other games from Fiery Dragon Productions. And that is a look at everything you get inside of The Final Frontier, a game designed by Kerry Anderson and published by Fiery Dragon Productions. This game's had a couple of iterations. This is from 2005, this edition. I'm not sure if Kerry has it on his website anymore, which is Micro Game Design Group, or if it is totally out of print. But a lot of game in this box, as I've been finding with Kerry's games. I've got a couple of others that we'll be sharing here on the channel as well. 50 units per side. You get up to 4 units on this map. It's a small map and it can get very crowded, so you're definitely going to have a good bit of action in this game. But as the game says, you are worried about production rather than necessarily getting into too much conflict, because then you can maybe have an all-out war. But hey, it's a war game. That's what we're going to be doing anyway. We're going to be going toe-to-toe, slugging it out. So looks like a lot of fun. I love space games, so definitely looks like an interesting game to get on the table. And whether I can get to play it face-to-face with up to 4 players or by myself, it looks like a worthy purchase. So if you've been curious about this game, I hope that helps you guys out. If you have any comments or questions, post them down below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.